The Taiwan issue is about China's sovereignty and territorial integrity, and it touches upon China's core interests. There is no space for China to make concessions. We urge the U.S. to clearly understand the situation and earnestly abide by the One China principle and the three communiques. Don't play with fire on the Taiwan issue.
For more analysis, let's speak to Alexey Muraviev, an associate professor of national security and strategic studies at Curtin University. He joins me now from Perth, Australia. Professor, incursions by Chinese planes in airspace around Taiwan are not new, but the 25-plane incursion that took place on Monday is the largest number yet, according to Taiwan. What do you think is going on here? Is China ramping up its military pressure against Taiwan?
Well, I wouldn't say it's ramping up. I would probably say it's making very clear that Taiwan is China's jurisdiction. Taiwan problem is China's #1 problem, and obviously is an act of avert deterrence against any foreign. You can read in between the lines, the U.S. interference in what China regards as its internal affairs. I think that what the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman clearly articulated as "don't play with fire" is what China wants the United States, Taiwan, and everyone else to understand when it comes to the issue of this what China describes as a breakaway province, and it acts accordingly by demonstrating stay away from these shores.
A U.S. diplomatic delegation arrived in Taiwan as the U.S. Steps up joint naval drills with the Philippines. No doubt this will anger China. How do you expect China to respond?
Well, the Chinese will continue to demonstrate their resolve by using diplomatic means, but also by displaying its grown military capability by dispatching ships, warships, by relying on paramilitary forces, engaging in so-called gray zone operations. So a mix of messages by simply saying, well, this is our line of responsibility. Don't try to challenge it, and obviously, China recognizes that this is an opportunity for them, given the current state of affairs in the United States, that the new administration, U.S. administration in the White House, the Biden administration, will continue to be largely preoccupied with domestic concerns. So that's an opportunity for countries like China or Russia, if we're talking about other parts of the world, to promote their course and to try to grab as many opportunities as they can.
We know that Taiwan is probably one of the most contentious issues between Beijing and Washington, but just how contentious is it? Is this something that could potentially trigger a military incursion, possibly a war?
Well, I think the Chinese would be more interested in absorbing Taiwan by means of peaceful annexation or some sort of a peaceful reunification, but at the same time, they demonstrate in their resolve because they have so much at stake by making claims that Taiwan is #1, their priority area. So they can certainly resort to force, but I guess it would be an extreme case. And they would only do it if they would have absolute confidence that the United States is not going to commit militarily, let alone intervene militarily. So certainly they have the power to overrun Taiwan's defenses. But the big question is, if the United States will send in carrier battle groups, how China would respond to that, because no one would be interested in seeing the two nuclear powers directly clash over Taiwan. So I think the question is not so much even with how the Chinese are going to do it, because the Chinese have their eyes fixed on Taiwan and they will grab it one way or another. But more importantly, whether the United States has the will to protect Taiwan and defend Taiwan beyond just symbolic rhetoric or beyond exercising occasional freedom of operations in the Strait of Taiwan, but what the United States will do should China resort to the extreme option by landing its forces on Taiwan shores.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now. Alexey Muraviev in Perth, Australia. Thank you.